Callum, it's coming up for Game of the Year time. We're starting to think about the end of the year, and
I don't like thinking about it, but yeah.
I know. But I'd like to propose a new category. My new category I'd like to propose is dopest main menu of the year.
That's a pretty dope main menu.
We have this dude.
Why is that guy's bat on fire?
Okay.
Like, it's also covered in barbed wire, which appeals to the sort of backyard wrestling or whatever, but why is it on fire?
Because this game is kind of awesome. So this is Yakuza Like a Dragon, which is essentially Yakuza 7, or the 7th in the series, 7th mainline in the series. But
so it is actually 7, but they're not calling it 7.
They're not calling it 7, and the main reason they're not calling it 7 is because it is basically entirely detached from all of the previous games. It is a new protagonist, it is a new... It's like some of the same families are still involved, but it's not like a follow-on.
What's the name of that guy, the dragon of what's his face? What's his name? Kiryu
Kazuma, the dragon
Kazuma,
the dragon of Dojima.
Yeah, that's the one.
So
you're saying that for someone like me who hasn't played the other Yakuza games, this might be okay to play.
100%, and also so I am 10 hours in at this point. This is probably my favorite I've played so far. So
really?
for background,
because you really like Zero.
Yeah, so I got into this series.
On Zero.
Well, it depends how you want to classify it, but I got into this series basically at Zero. I did play Dead Souls, but that didn't really count.
Oh, that doesn't count. That's not.
Yeah, so I got into Zero. Really liked Zero. Got 6. Finished 6. Didn't finish Kiwami, which was like the remake of 1.
That's the remake of 1. Yeah.
The remake of 2 is coming in a Humble Bundle next month, so I'm going to get that, and I'll maybe see how I get on there. And then I didn't finish Judgment, which was the Yakuza-like game from the same studio, but it's a different game. And I didn't finish that.
That was the private investigator game,
yes.
right?
And I didn't finish that game because it was just a little bit too much like 6. This feels like a proper evolution of what Yakuza does. Well, evolution's weird, but we'll get to that. Also, for reference, this is on Steam. This is the Steam version. It's on Steam, PS4, Xbox One, and Xbox X and S right now. The PS5 version is not coming out until, I want to say, January, end of January.
Okay.
They've got it as an exclusive for a little bit. But this is the Steam version. It's also $54.99 on Steam. It is full price.
That's a lot of money.
But okay. So, and also in case people are worried about spoilers, because you could obviously do quite a lot of that with this game. The two things that I'm going to show, 2 save games. I'm going to show one 4 hours in, and then my current save at 10 hours to show some of the world. The 4 hours in save, for anyone who's played one of these games before, is basically nothing, because everything up to that point has basically been set up. For the main story. Like, that is the start of chapter 2, is 4 hours in. So I'm not going to do any story stuff, really, so you shouldn't need to worry about spoilers. I just kind of want to show the new parts of this game. So let's start here, because there's a great moment I want to show off here. So in terms of setup, like I say, the first... this is chapter 4? Yeah, this is chapter 4.
Is what it says.
No, that's the description of 3. This is currently chapter 4. So basically the first 3 chapters are all set up as to your new character. So the new character, Ichiban Kasuga, is an entirely new character, never been in the series before, and he is the first couple of chapters is setting him up as a member of a Yakuza family, but very much illustrating that he is like the definition of like a Yakuza with a heart of gold. So like you know, in the previous games, like Kiryu would be like, he'd always be on the lookout for people, but still was like permanently angry at people, and like
he would still beat the shit out of people, but he'd be doing it to like save a kid or whatever.
Yeah, like there'd always be something like Ichi is much more positive about basically everything, and is very much like.
Is that do people call him Ichi?
Ichi is what people call him. So there's going to be a lot here. Oh God, we're just getting into this, huh? Okay.
What the fuck? What?
Right,
what the fuck?
So...
Suspicious man.
So, here's your first big change in the Yakuza series. This is now a...
I was going to say, this is like Final Fantasy 13 or something like that.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this?
So this game is the most JRPG game that they've basically ever... I mean, yes, it is a JRPG now, right? It is... So I don't have direct control over characters. I'm just giving commands. Just go with it. Listen.
Why are you fighting guys in trash bags?
Listen, if this is the thing that you're going to do this about, we've got a lot still to come.
So is there a reason as to why these people are in trash bags and they're attacking you?
I was
okay.
Well, yes, I was hoping I would get to this cutscene that I was going to show, which would explain some of this and kind of the general approach of this game. But unfortunately, I immediately ended up in a fight, which is not what I need.
It seems like they're resisting your attacks.
Yeah, I haven't quite worked out what these guys are. Oh god, there's so much.
Is there magic? Can you use magic into this?
Yes. So let me get to. Okay, so there's no active time. Like if I can just sit here forever, I have no control over Ichi at this point. All I can do is choose commands. I have straight up physical attack. I have a guard. I have skills, which are basically your spells, which use mana.
Right. Actual real life mana.
That's the blue bar on the bottom right under your health.
Right.
I don't have a lot right now. I think did they rename maybe mind points? I can't remember.
Ah, okay.
Sure. So all your skills basically are some of them have that like hit Y at the right time to do extra damage. Some of them have like mash X to do extra damage.
It's Final Fantasy VIII. I got
it. Namba here, who's one of my other characters, he's the person that has the closest thing to magic, except that he like will swallow alcohol and then breathe fire on people.
Oh, there you go. See, that was effective.
Yep. Also, there's a real-time guard system, which I don't think these guys actually attack. I think they're all just status effects. But if you press B at the right time to guard, you'll do less damage. There's like a perfect parry style system. I was very quickly going to try and finish this fight so I can get to the bit I actually wanted to show. There's also a mechanic where if you knock somebody down and follow them up with another attack from somebody else, it'll do more damage, that kind of stuff. There is a straight up... I'm trying to remember if I've got it already.
I'm so weirded out by what I'm looking at right now.
There's a... Would you believe me if I said there's an explanation for all of this?
I mean, yes, I would assume there is, but is that explanation also ridiculous?
Vaguely, but it's... So the thing about this game is... So tonally, the Yakuza games have always had they've walked that very fine line between being fucking ridiculous, but also having like quite serious-esque, like, kind of crime drama style stories. Right?
Yeah, like when I played the little bit of it, there was ridiculous side stuff, but then all the main story was pretty much serious Yakuza business, where it was just about like families and development plots and all that stuff. Like it was
totally.
That was kind of the line that it drew on, where it was like the main story was serious, but then you got into side stuff where it was all like drone racing and guys trying to take girls' pants and stuff like that. Like it was...
totally. So this is. Oh, maybe it's not this cutscene. It may be after this cutscene. I'm not sure. So this is setting up kind of the start of the general story of the game, where... So after the whole intro sequence, or intro 4 hours, Ichi wakes up in Yokohama. So this is not Kamurocho. This is Yokohama. He wakes up in a pile of trash in Yokohama with no top and has been shot. And you know who shot you and why they shot you, and that's all precursor stuff I'm not going to get into, but you basically wake up.
Sure.
And Namba, who is the guy with the
umbrella,
green jacket and the umbrella, he's a homeless ex-nurse, so he's like stitch you up and got you back on your feet, and they'd be like, okay, fine, go do your thing. And the main story is basically a kind of middle of the road Yakuza who's had basically everything taken away from him. So he's woken up here injured with no money, no items, no clothes, nothing, and is like the whole story appears to be about Ichi getting back on his feet and helping other people do the same. And that's the whole tone of this game, is it's all about you helping other people who are down in their luck or have various troubles. So they've basically taken the concept of the side stories and turned it into the main thrust of the game.
Yeah.
So I'm here at Hello Work, which is basically the job it's the job center basically for Yokohama, to just basically get some work, because I have no money, and that's why I'm here. So this character, the guy in the bomber jacket, is an ex-cop who he has his own stuff going on. All the characters have their own stories and stuff going on as well, but basically he get kicked out of the police like a week before retirement, and so can't claim his pension, and so also has no money.
Oh god.
Yeah. So, oh yeah. So you can also just auto battle if I just hold down the left trigger.
Oh, it's Final Fantasy 13.
Yeah,
okay.
It's got bits and pieces of that as well. Let me just, I can do some guarding here. Nah. So the one thing I've seen, oh, he stole shit from me. That's new. Okay. So the one thing I've seen so far, and I can't tell whether it's because I've primarily played most of this over a Steam Link, but the timing on the perfect guard seems very specific. So there, I pulled one off there.
There you
go. And I thought it was just because it was a very small window, but I unlocked the there we go. I unlocked the karaoke stuff last night, and it does feel like there's a delay in the streaming, and I don't know why.
Oh yeah, I assume it would be the Steam Link sort of thing.
But I've never noticed that in any Steam Link game before, so maybe the windows are just tight enough where you notice it. I'm not sure. Let's do his other things. He's got gnarly breath, which reduces defense.
For a guy that's woken up being shot with no clothes, Itchy's got a fresh ass suit.
Okay, yeah, so there's... Yeah, I don't want to go into all the stuff in the prologue, basically, but like, there's a reason why he has that suit.
Why do these guys have lumber? What the fuck? Is there a crafting system in this game?
I unlocked it last night, 10 hours into the game, yes.
God damn it, okay.
There are 2 sections on my main menu that are still grayed out.
Great. After 10 hours?
After 10
Fantastic.
hours. I watched a bunch of reviews of this, read a bunch of reviews of this game that said, oh yes, the X system that unlocks 15 hours into the game. You're like, okay, sure.
Great.
But, so yeah, like the idea that, just generally narrative-wise, I really like the direction they've taken it, where it's good to have a character who's genuinely positive, genuinely wants to help people, and uses all of their connections. Yeah. And also, it's got a really interesting thing where obviously there's going to be crossover with actual Yakuza in this, because of course there will be, but the fact that Ichi has a bunch of Yakuza experience but is no longer part of a family means
he's 42, damn, he looks good for 42.
Right? All of these people are, Ichi's 40, Namba's 45, and I think the police chief is early 50s, I think. Which is also pretty cool, like, the idea that a game's come out where the main protagonist is 42, like, that doesn't happen, especially for, like, JRPGs and stuff like that.
It's better than the... What's the main character of... Like, they announced the name of the main character for Final Fantasy 16, it was like Craig or something like that, wasn't it?
Jeff or something.
Some really banal name.
Yeah.
And he looks like 18.
Yeah.
It's very different.
Yeah. I think I may have actually saved in the wrong place, because I think because I had a bat in that combat sequence, didn't I?
Yeah.
Okay, so
like a spike bat.
So this is kind of...
Oh, he's a big fan of Dragon Quest.
Yeah.
Great.
So part of it is the fact that he's a big Dragon Quest fan is basically the explanation for everything in this game, right? So the main line in this that explains essentially everything is that Ichi basically says, life is an RPG, you're just constantly trying to level up. And that explains basically every part of this. Where
that makes sense. Okay, sure.
He grew up on Dragon Quest, he always wanted to be a hero. And like, this is the thing, like, even in Dragon Quest, some jobs are locked until the character reaches a certain level, so it's why you can't just get like a good job, right? You need to work your way up to it. Life is an RPG. So you've got an ex-con, a bum, and a fired cop. So here's what we've got so far. Oh, maybe this is the save. I was pretty sure this was the save. It depends what job they're about to give me. So that's the explanation for most of this stuff. Is that... Yeah, okay, we are on the right thing.
Oh, no.
So... there's still...
I just saw the word special in inverted commas.
Yeah, it's a bathhouse, right? It's... Yeah. A lot of the stuff that has been in the Yakuza games before, in terms of, like... overall narrative thrust is still there. Like, there's still a lot of, like, the stuff you would expect from a Yakuza game. Like, there are bathhouses and brothels, there are a lot of people, like, kind of doing some shady shit. Like, all of that stuff is still in there. Like, but there's something about the way that Ichi approaches a lot of this stuff that makes it feel not as bad as it can do in some of the previous games, where hopefully this is... Yeah, I have totally got the wrong save. This is... Do I have the right save, or am I just boned? Oh, no, it is. It's that one. No, that's chapter 4.
Wait, there is actually a job system.
Oh yeah, so that's actually what I was going to get at. I'm actually going to jump back to the title and load the actual...
I mean, there's a load... never mind.
Oh, there was a load thing there, sorry.
I just, like, the shock of, like, because I remember playing the Yakuza games and then being, like, really, like, brutal brawler things. Like, you had the heat moves where you would, like, throw bikes through people's heads and stuff like that. Like, it was pretty rough.
So... I think the thing I like about it is that I always thought that... Let me just make sure I get the right one. It's this one. Let me just make sure. Tenant Rock Bottom. Yes, because he's still a freelancer at this point. Okay, yes. The combat was always the worst part of these games for me, and they would always have weird difficulty spikes where like all of the combat would be like super simple and like basically trivial. Until you get to a boss fight, and then it would be like...
And then it was
super like, punishing.
You would just like chug items at that point, like healing items at all times, yeah. The game looks good. Like, it's good.
Yeah, the game looks... So this is it running on Ultra on Steam. It's based on the Yakuza 6 engine, I'm pretty sure, but it's definitely had a bunch of... I'm going to skip this because this is some story stuff that you're probably better experiencing on your own. There's just one particular cutscene I want to show, which... was the moment where this game kind of all fell into place for me. Yeah, it is this. I'm just going to keep skipping these. The game runs super well. I had some weird technical stuff at the start where the game like locked up for like 3 minutes and then kicked back into a cutscene. That happened a couple of times, but it has not happened since. It was like the first couple hours maybe. But technically it seems pretty good. I'm just gonna... Can I just skip all of this? Okay.
Skip all cutscenes. Nice.
Yep. So
it has JRPG jingles as well. Like,
so,
it has
yes. So we're going to... So we've basically at this point been given a job to go to... Here, yeah. Which is to go to the job center and basically see what's happening. Oh yes, this is the cutscene. Here we go. This is the bit where it started working for me. So...
Oh, it's a bat.
It's a bat in the grounds.
Okay, yeah.
Also, I love these characters. These characters are excellent. All of them.
Is this going to be a fucking like Excalibur joke? Is this?
Yes, essentially. But like, this is the part where they provide the tenuous explanation for all of the shit that you've seen so far in the combat, right? So this.
Oh, like the reason that people have magic and shit.
Yeah.
Is that the... Right.
So yeah, it's really stuck in there. We're just like, hey, we should pawn it for money because we're all broke. It's
also rare that you see the protagonist of a JRPG who's a fucking deadbeat. Like,
completely, like you start from absolutely nothing. Like I think I start with like 100 yen and that's it. Which does have some. So the only thing I don't like about the combat system is if you die. Okay, I'm just gonna let this play out here.
Oh. Why is it wrapped in barbed wire? Okay.
Because... What'd you do any differently? So there's some real...
The chosen hero.
The chosen hero should pull it out. You know, in JRPGs there's some holy sword that only the hero can pick up. He's been a quest to become a hero since he was a kid. So they talk about that early on, is like he grew up on like Dragon Quest and stuff like that, and always wanted to be the hero, like the main protagonist in one of those things. The holy sword of the hero. Even though it's a bat with barbed wire around it.
It's just a bat with barbed wire.
Yeah. So should we go find some damn jobs? And then, oh look, some people turn up.
Some bad men.
Some bad men.
Like, hey, it's my bat.
I was hoping this would be the intro I was going to give you to the combat.
Dad Hunter, what?
Yeah.
Is that his name? Oh no, they are Dad Hunters.
They're Dad Hunters because they go and try and beat up old people to steal their money.
Right, of course.
So this is the first time in the game where that the transition of those characters changes. So like that dude turned into a big dude with a stick.
I was literally about to say, how the fuck did that happen? Because he's huge now.
So here's the explanation. So they can't see this. This is just him.
This is just what Itchy sees in his head.
Yes. So they transform into actual.
So in the real world, they're just having a fight.
Yeah.
But Itchy sees it as people like casting magic or whatever.
Yes. He sees this as a video game.
So he's fucking crazy, is what you're telling me. Okay.
But also like, there's some stuff on top of that as well, where like these characters or the enemies we're fighting here have changed into like named things. So like this guy is Hands Thrower, which is a class type almost because he punches people. Just to show that this stuff is still here.
Is this a heat move?
Kind of. This is the equivalent of the heat moves. We something get.
Oh yeah, look, there he goes. He's glowing blue.
Yep. Just to show that these animations are still here. The tag team stuff also ties into a mechanic where the more you interact with your...
Oh my god, look at the fucking camera shots! Jesus Christ.
The more you interact with your teammates, the more bond you get with them, and the more chance you have of pulling off bigger tag team moves or learning tag team moves with them, that kind of stuff.
Wait, so there's like a Persona style mechanic where there's like
there are bars for every single part of this thing.
Oh my god.
Everything you see has a mechanic tied to it, to the point where like, yeah, I'll show you the menu in a second to show you how JRPG this thing gets, but like, yeah, they really...
So your perfect garden, no problem.
Yeah,
right?
I think it might just be a streaming thing. I don't know. The window's still not huge, I should also say. So like, even just looking at this screen, right, like, the bottom right has a bunch of like different resistances. There's like an MP gauge. There's a literal magic gauge, stat, sorry. Yeah. So yes, so there's it ties narratively in because a lot of that stuff comes from the bond with the other characters. So like you have to look out for the other characters in your party and like get to know them and like see what their stories are and help them with their problems.
Is there a loyalty quest?
I cannot confirm or deny that there are specific quests for specific people. So they're basically like, yo, what the hell? What? Are you just completely delusional?
Oh yeah, I guess that's a good. Every hero's delusional at some point. Yeah, that's probably that checks out.
So
he just made up a class. Okay, yeah, fair enough.
And I think the thing why this was all this thing, like that screen in particular came up and said Kazuya's job has changed to hero, and I'm like, oh, all of this ties together. The fact that they are going to have to take all of these little jobs to get themselves back on their feet. Jobs become an important part of their character. The jobs provide different things. It is a job system because it's a JRPG. Like, the thing I'm really enjoying about this is everything just ties together. Like, nothing feels like it's wasted. Like, every part of it is telling story and being mechanical at the same time. So, like, if I go straight into here, like, so here's, like, your skill menu that you can see all the stuff that's there. There's items, there's just items, gear. So there's, like, gear slots with, like, weapons and body armor and accessories. All that stuff is in there as well. This is straight up, like, hit a button to get optimal gear. There are... So you can just... Again, this is your stats page. The thing at the top right is... What do they call it? Personality, I think is just what they call it. But it's basically, like, different aspects of your... Yeah, personality.
Oh, it's Persona! Right, yeah. That's... Yeah.
So, like, you get levels and different things. And then they have an effect on... particular skills, so like the wind up bat. So Ichi has a skill that raises everyone's attack, which the effectiveness of it increases the more passion you have, like that kind of stuff.
Right. Okay.
There are dialogue options that will increase some of these, all of that kind of stuff. So Ichi has a job of hero right now, which shows you. So I know that ties into all the skills. So like. These two are job skills, which you get for this job. There are some that are character skills. And this shows you, like, as you rank up in hero, like, you get a whole bunch of stuff. Each job has 100 levels.
Oh, God, right. 99, Jesus, as a JRPG.
Yeah.
This is, I was going to say, do you know what this is? This is, like, old JRPGs.
Yes,
this is like
totally.
Dragon Quest, where
like,
it's
and
like...
this is the point, like, the fact that they've really gone in on this. So, like, I started as a freelancer, and I have hero as a job. Namba is homeless guy. which means that he fights with an umbrella, but has those tricks of the trade like fire breathing and pigeon control. I didn't do the pigeon one. I should do the pigeon one next.
Pigeon control.
He's a detective because he was a detective, which means he gets a baton and has judo stuff, but also has buffs and debuffs. Stuff like he pulls out a megaphone and shouts at people to decrease their, which might make them run away, that kind of stuff.
Oh, he still has a smartphone.
He still has a smartphone, which is, yes, he still has a smartphone. So I'm very quickly going to jump to my current save, which has a bunch more stuff opened. Level 14, 9.5 hours. Yes, this is the last one. So again, I'm not going to do any story stuff, so you don't need to worry about spoilers. But I'm just going to show some of the stuff that's unlocked. So again, this is a totally new area as well. This is not Kamurocho. This is Yokohama. And when I pull up the map, this is a big area. Like they've really ramped up this. And again, like I've basically not left this area. I've done some excursions up here for story stuff, but I've basically just stayed in this area here. And see how they're kind of delineated with like kind of these areas. Each of those areas has, so if you see in the bottom left there, it says Koreatown, and there's like 3 diamonds underneath it. That's like a kind of threat level, basically, where like you need to be excellent. So basically, I can survive in like level 3 areas right now because of where I am, because I'm level 14. But so here, commercial district is a 1-star, so you're basically going to stomp anyone that's here. So, God, where do we even want to start with this? So I've unlocked some other things where there's a really weird Pokemon side quest in this, which basically unlocks the Sujidex. Which is like, here are all the characters you fought so far.
Oh, it's a codex. Okay.
It's a codex, but also it's a Pokédex, where like the guy who gives you this thing says like, hey, let's test it out, and then gets 3 of his guys in, one dressed in red, one dressed in blue, one dressed in green, that you fight, and like you get them. In fact, they're probably in here somewhere.
I just realised that we didn't get an explanation as to why those people were in trash bags.
Oh yeah, the trash bag people. So like they're, where are they? They'll be in here somewhere.
They are.
Pseudo trash. Yeah. Live off dumpster diving, disguise themselves as a trash bag, partly to pick up the first pick of any given load of garbage. So like all these people are based on like, so like here's the fashion police, right? It's a dude with scissors.
Oh, of course.
Here is a shillboard, who's a guy with a sign. Like all of these people are based on like Ichi's version of people that he's seen out in the world, right?
Yeah, sure.
This guy's an acupuncturist, so he throws needles. This guy is just an unhinged psycho with a knife, apparently.
With a knife, okay. Go.
And then there's like various levels of Yakuza and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, that all ties in. There is... Fuck, where do we even start? Okay,
What's Part-Time Hero?
It's Part-Time Hero. That is a version of the thing from 6, where it's basically like side quests, where I can pull up... Like, here's a list of side quests that are happening. So some of them are just basically delivery stuff, which is like, hey, get these items and deliver them for money. There are rescue ones, which are like, they are just straight up on the map, like here and here, which are just like basically like little combat things. So all of that stuff is still in there. So let's see how weird we can get this. Where is the cinema? There's the cinema. Let's go to the cinema. So the cinema is the thing that you get, or that unlocked early on. It's not a big thing, but I'm taking you to the cinema because I think it really shows how out there they've gone with just some of the concepts. Because of a lot of this is happening inside Ichi's head, it means they can go like double and triple down on the weirdness. So let's just go over here. A lot of the stuff is up there. Let's go in the cinema and see if I can watch a movie. Yeah.
Wait, this is a cinema? Okay.
Yeah, here we go. Yes. Watch with... no. Okay, I don't know what happens with 2 people. Let's just do it watch alone because I know what happens here. So there's a bunch of like old... So this guy really likes old movies and is annoyed that people keep coming into cinema and falling asleep at old movies because he thinks they should appreciate them more. So let's go watch Office Alone. Sure. So the thing I was saying about money, when you lose a fight, you lose half your money. Like just straight up 50% of it goes. So there are ATMs where you can deposit your money so you won't lose it. But the fact that there's such a money focus means that like losing a fight is actually pretty bad. And before I figured out the threat system, like I would just get completely annihilated by random people. And I lost a bunch of money early on.
Wait, did they not explain that system?
No. If they did, I missed it. At a point where it would be effective for them to tell me, so I lost a bunch of money.
Okay.
So use the ATMs in the Popo shops. The kind of convenience stores have ATMs where you can just deposit money, so you don't lose it, basically. So we're gonna watch this movie, and unfortunately, the problem is that you keep. You have a tendency to fall asleep in the cinema, so you have to keep all of these.
Wait, is Catherine all of a sudden?
These are REM-rams that are trying to send you to sleep that you need to keep at bay.
REM-rams?
Yeah, you know, like REM-rams, like REM sleep.
REM, right, got it.
REM-rams, and you have to keep awake by keeping them batted back. Like, this was the point where I was just like, oh, they're just.
I don't know what I'm looking at right now.
So I'm just hitting buttons to keep them away, and like I'm trying.
No, I know, but like, this is a design decision that people made. Of like, obviously it's the Yakuza people, so obviously they made these decisions, but still, like.
But like, this is a mini game that somebody built and is reasonably effective and works, and they're just like, oh no, we're just gonna do the weird thing now, like because we can because we're just seeing inside this dude's head, like we can just be really weird and not even have to justify it in the clumsy way that the previous Yakuza games justified it.
You're justifying it by saying it's all going on inside the head of someone who's very imaginative and also has a hero complex
and grew up on like JRPGs and video games. And totally. So, like, stuff that you would expect from this game, so I'm playing in Japanese with English subtitles. There's a full English voice track as well. The translation...
I feel like you should play these games in Japanese.
Totally. The translation is still stellar. Like, the translation from the previous Yakuza games they're not just translation, they are localized in a really good way, where, like, all of the jokes have been localized in a way that makes sense, so you understand them. You don't have to have, like, massive knowledge of Japanese culture to get all the in-jokes. Like, they've done a really good job of translating it all.
Who does the localization for this? Is it 8.4?
It's not 8.4. Zero wasn't 8.4, I know that much. It was some other team. I think it was a Sega internal team that did it.
Right, okay. That's good.
And I definitely said...
most of the Japanese games that I've played where, like, the localization isn't just translation, it's like interpretation is done by 8.4, because those guys are really good at that.
They're excellent at that, but so as far as I know, they're not involved. I could be wrong about that, but I definitely said this when I was talking about, I'll just finish this off because I might as well. I spent 1,000 yen on it, I might as well. The thing I said about Zero, specifically with their translation, is I am sure there is, if not a British person, a Scottish person was involved in the translation for that, because there are like...
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, like, somebody got called a bampot at one point. I was just like, you don't...
Nice.
You do not get that word unless you've used that word in context.
Yeah.
Like, that does not make sense if you don't know what that means.
Yeah, there's a very specific word.
Totally. So, like, yes, so, again, in this game, the translation is absolutely awesome. It's not only is the physicality of it funny, like, all the dialogue is funny, I don't skip any of it, like, it's all good. The writing on all the characters is just excellent. Like, Ichi is easily the most easily likable character they've ever put in one of these games. Like, not even just as a lead, like, just out of any of the characters they've ever done before. He is just a spectacular character. All the voice acting is really good. Like, it pairs the right. They did say there's an interesting thing on the when you change from English to Japanese voice acting, is they said the subtitles for the other European languages that are not English, they say, like, are more closely mapped to the Japanese, which suggests they aren't localized as well. So
sure, yeah.
If that's going to be an issue for you, if you can play it in English, I'd probably play it in English. If that works for you. Yeah, just...
Pound mates.
So I was about to go on to pound mates. So we briefly
Is that a Postmates joke?
No. Well, yes, but no. So remember we were having a conversation during the week where I was like, I sent you the picture of one of the side quests. Let's not mention which one it was. I sent you a picture of a side quest, and then I said, what if I told you that's how the summon system works? So there is a JRPG summon system in this, and you're like, how does summon systems make sense, right? Because summon systems in most JRPGs are like, how can you like summon gods to do your bidding for you? And you're like, magic. In Yakuza, how do you do a summon system? You get their phone number and you fucking call them. So I have these two people that I've got as pound mates right now.
Gary Buster Holmes.
Gary Buster Holmes, who was the person that introduced me to the pound mates, which is just an app that you're just like, yo, I need somebody to come help me fight. So I'm going to fight these dudes, and I'm going to call in the other summon that I have just to see what happens.
Right, okay.
So from here I can just
the Rambler, right,
etc. Pound mates. And the first use of everyone is free, so I have not seen what this...
Patriarch Gondawara.
Yeah, so skill help, watches satisfaction as the Patriarch, well past infancy, pounds the enemy's eardrums with a tantrum, lowering their attack and defense.
Sure.
Let's see what this does.
Excellent summon
All
animation.
of this is just the best.
Great. Fantastic. Oh no. Oh no. No. Man baby patriarch.
Yeah, like this is part of a side story. Like, it's
sweet
so
God.
good.
What the fuck?
It's just so good.
So is that the thing, how you like summon the lobsters that people keep talking about?
Yes, like I assume they will be a pound mates summon at some point. There is... I'm just see what else.
The music's fun. What the fuck is going on with the soundtrack?
The music also continues to be great in these things.
But this is like, that's the music right now is like way over the top for what you're doing. Like,
but like it always has been.
This is like actual super aggressive JRPG combat music, whereas you just summon the giant man baby to scream at your opponents.
Yeah, like the idea that. Yeah, the idea. Yeah, like it makes. Again, like, once you have that setup of this is happening in Ichi's head, like, all of this just snaps into place.
Yeah, totally.
Like, all of this just starts to make sense in a way that some of the Yakuza games have been really stretching it sometimes. Oh, wait. Part-time hero, you can report in. Oh, wait, apparently that's me done a quest for part-time hero. Oh, take down 10 thugs. Okay, sure. So now I can report that at one of the convenience stores and get a reward.
You get some smooth hide.
Yeah, oh yeah, so like there's a whole... So I've been getting all of these items. And
oh my god.
And like I said, the crafting system unlocked a half hour before the save is done right now, which is like 10 hours, 9 hours in or something like that. Like all of that is here. There's seeds, like there's a growing system. Like you can grow seeds to get vegetables.
Like a plot or something like that?
It's any... The way they were talking about it is it's like any planter in Yokohama. You can just use...
Put something.
Okay. I'm trying to see what else I can show.
Have you found any planters?
There's one outside the bar that serves as your home base.
Right, okay.
But that's about it. I'm trying to see if there's any... Can we do a side story? Is there any on the map here? Okay, there's one down here. Let's go do that one. Because
can you still fast travel? Can you still fast travel by taxis?
Yes, but it costs money, right? So
right, okay.
It's a thing. So once you've used your pound mate the first time, they cost actually.
What was that?
What?
There's a thing glowing to your left.
Thing glowing to my left.
That.
Oh, hey, yeah, just items.
Oh, it's just an item. Okay.
A scalp D.
Scalp D.
Which is, I assume, some kind of restorative. Using it could
improve your style.
Yeah.
Is that like one of your side stats?
That's your
style?
personality stats is style. So
right,
like, I think I am currently... Ichi is garish because he's only level 2 in style.
Right.
Okay. There's
cool.
Oh god, there's so much of this I kind of want to show you, but I also kind of want to keep some of it back. Let's take this taxi and go do here, and I think it was like down here somewhere. So like the fact that the other thing I really like is the fact that money is so much more like in the biggest contrast to something like Yakuza 0, where that narratively was about like the excesses of the 80s in Japan, where like you finish the story in that game with like 10 million yen or something ridiculous like that. In this game, like the fact that you start from nothing and have to do we're coming back to do this guy's quest once we're done here.
Okay.
The idea that like money is so scarce, like 720 yen for a taxi is a lot of money at the start of this game. All the pound mates cost money to summon, so like if I do so he's 5,000, he's 10,000, right? And also there's restrictions, like this guy can't come out during the day because he's a Yakuza family head, so like he can't come out during the day, right?
Right.
All of that kind of stuff is all in there. So the blue ones are the sub stories, which are a thing that's always been in the Yakuza games, which are always like these side, like non-parts of the main story. Oh right, so this is a follow-on from another side story. So I passed a guy earlier.
Catch a public urinator.
So I passed a guy earlier who was like, we keep getting police complaints. There's a guy just pissing in the river.
Great.
And like we can't catch him because we can't catch him in the act. So if you see him, could you do something about it? And you're like, oh, okay, sure. I haven't seen this, by the way.
4 guys pissing in the river.
Maybe I can judge the culprit by their posture. So who do we think would be more likely to be a serial river pisser?
the guess would be that guy on the right,
the far right.
Looks real shifty. Yeah.
Okay.
That would be the guess, but oh god, this is gonna be a he's watering plants.
It's not him. He's just watering his plants. What the hell are you doing? Of course he is.
Yeah, he's watering, the one plant that he has by the river.
The tiny plant that he waters next to the
river. Tiny small plant. It's gonna wilt. Yeah, sure. Sorry.
The first part of this quest just had so many piss jokes. It was kind of impressive that they kept it going for as long as they could. For instance.
Oh wait, so you now have to come back the next day.
The sub stories have multiple stages that will just appear randomly. God, what else do I want to do? So that's the.
You said you were going to go back and do a guy's quest on the right.
Yes. So where was it?
Back away.
Back up here. So when you start this game, you start off in the homeless encampment that Namba lived in originally.
Is that the guy from Resident Evil 4?
It does kind of look like it, yeah. And he says, hey, if you need money, there's a really easy way to make money, right? Which is go pick up cans, right? Which is a thing. You pick up cans, you do recycling.
He's called Kansan.
He's called Kansan, yeah. So okay, let's go pick up some cans, right? And it's a mini game. Oh, interesting. Okay, let's just do the easy one. So
this is gonna be over the top, isn't it?
Oh fuck yeah! So let's go pick up some cans, where I have these things which give me boosts. And then I can pick up these cans. There are big stacks of cans, which give me more cans. There's explosive barrels.
Oh, it's a racing minigame,
Not quite racing, because I can charge this dude and steal his cans.
Oh my god, okay.
If you look on the minimap at the bottom
Mario
left...
Kart's battle mode.
Kind of. But also, if you look in the minimap at the bottom left, there are like big yellow dots. Those are like the big stacks. So I need to get...
Hackman?
Kind of. So I need to get the... Oh, damn it. I need to get the minimum amount of cans to pass, which is 50, and make it back to the start before my time runs out.
Guy to your left.
Yep, I'm just gonna try and get this big stack first. But there's also...
This is stupid.
But it totally makes sense. Like, 100%, like, nothing is surprising anymore. And you, like, totally...
No, I'm not shocked by it, because it's a fucking Yakuza game, but, like... It's still, like, every time I look at it, I'm still just like, what is even going on?
Yeah, alright, so see
this is a JRPG.
So, like, see the green star that's behind me right now? If I slow down. There she goes. So she just continually drops cans, so it's a good idea to just follow her. She just, like, she's taking the trash out, right? So you're just gonna follow her and pick up all the cans that she drops. There's also a garbage truck that runs around sometimes, that if you hit the garbage truck, you lose a bunch of cans. I've only got 30 seconds. Fuck, okay. Need to make it back. If you don't make it back, you always get a D regardless of how many cans you've picked up. So let's just make it back. Come on. There we go. Yeah, we'll be fine.
I got plenty of time.
There we go. And like all the minigames are like fleshed out just enough. They all look pretty good. They've all got their own animations and stuff. They all play into like other mechanics. So every time I do the cans thing, my kindness stat goes up because I'm helping the community.
Yeah.
And then I get these recycling points.
6 times get.
Yep. And then I'm leveling up this, so I'm currently Man of Cans, which is the 2nd level. So that increases my stats, and then I get points for recycling for putting the cans in, which means this guy has his own shop, which I can then spend those points in for like just trade up for. So you can trade it for money, but it's very non-cost efficient, or you can just use it to actually buy like items and stuff.
Gear.
So you've got like fake bags and an old guitar and like trash and like. Oh, this is where you get the worn out TV. Oh, okay. I need that for a quest.
Is this something that you needed?
Yes,
okay.
I actually need them for a quest. I'm just going to pick them up very quickly. Okay. Awesome. I was wondering where you get that. So there's all of that stuff. Let's do... I don't want to show too much more because a lot of the other Yakuza stuff is still there. There's a bunch of items out in the world you can find. There's a bunch of so all the gamepads here are all mini games. So that was the cinema we did. There's Mahjong. There's a the vocational. Did I show the vocational school? I should probably show the vocational school. Is there a taxi around there? There is. Okay.
Okay.
There is shogi. There's all that kind of stuff. There's karaoke, which I think is probably how we'll finish it. I think let's finish with some karaoke.
Yeah, you got to do some karaoke. Yeah.
But there's also this. So Pia is a patchy slot place, which is this like Japanese
slot.
It's like slot machines, but they've got the big LCD screens on them. Remember the thing that?
Right.
Remember the thing that they got annoyed that Konami was like, "We're putting out a new Silent Hill game, and there's a patchy slot machine." Like it's
what Konami does now.
Yes, exactly. I went to this. I went to that, and I'm gonna go find the taxi. I went and did that, and it was like, you need to download another 7 gig to play the patchy slot machines. I'm like, wait, what?
Are they like officially licensed patchy slot machines or something? Is that why it's...
I think, but
okay.
But it's also a free DLC. Like you don't have to pay for it, but it's a separate DLC on Steam at least. There's another 7 gig, which I assume is all the video.
That's involved. Yeah, I guess.
And I'm wondering
it was all like high res video.
So I'm like, is it because it's high res video because it makes it it requires a bigger download? Is it some like legal thing where you can't do patchy slot machines in various parts of Europe so they can restrict it to specific areas? Is it...
Oh, maybe, yeah.
I don't know, because also there's no, like, apart from the DLC, obviously, which all these games have always had, like, there's no microtransactions except for, like, cosmetic stuff that is just straight up normal DLC. Yeah, there's just... it was just a weird moment of like, oh, right, okay, sure.
Did you download it?
Yeah, I downloaded it. I don't know how the slot machines work. It doesn't make any sense.
You don't know how patchy machines work?
No, like I kept putting tokens in and being like, I kept not doing anything and the screen changing a little bit every time. And I was like, 1, I don't get how this is 7 gig. 2, there's no instructions to any of this. So I was like, okay, sure.
Well, it's like pachinko, right? Like I've got no fucking idea how pachinko works.
Totally,
like,
but like I have a rough idea and could make it work. Like this is just like I'm just hitting buttons and nothing makes sense. So it's a vocational skill. So it's a vocational skill that you get involved in for reasons that I'm not even going to get into. But you can basically like take straight up exams where like...
Oh, what the fuck? Okay.
So like
underworld studies.
So this gives you 100 confidence points, right? And animal science, which gives you extra kindness. There's Sega proficiency, which is like
how well do you know Sega video games?
And it gives you passion and style if passed. But the problem is that they are actually straight up exams. So this is the one they make you do at the start, and I can do it again for free, right? And they're just like straight up exams where it's like, yo, what's the thing in bowling that you have to knock down? It's like, okay, they're pins. Got you. Marathon is named after which event?
Thermopylae.
Battle Marathon. What is 3 below par in golf?
An eagle? Is that right?
Let's find out. What do you call when you use your hand in football?
As a handling? Okay.
What's the name of the thing where a metal ball is thrown into the air and compete for distance?
Shot put.
There we go.
I don't know, we always just called it a handball. I don't know if it's called handling.
Yeah, I would have called it handball as well, but they call it handling. That's the name of the foul. And it shows you like, here's
it's not an eagle, it's an albatross.
I did
eagle's 2 under.
I did exactly the same thing when I first did this. So yeah. So that suggests that like
that's also that music is also very JRPG win state music.
Yep.
That's
So that suggests that like the I didn't mean that. The Sega proficiency exam is literally just a quiz on Sega games.
Sure.
Is my guess.
Yeah.
But all of these are very expensive.
They're 50,000 yen! Jesus.
Yeah. Which, again, Yakuza 0 is pocket change. In this game, you have to work for that, right?
Yeah.
Trivia King, World History,
Flag
Master, Hazardous Materials Training. So I have no idea if these are like...
It's just stat farming, right? Like,
yeah, but like I don't know if all of these are just straight up like written exact. Like, it's Hazardous Materials. Like, is that going to be another minigame? Maybe. I have no idea.
Who knows? It does say 3 out of 5 passing marks. So that would imply some sort of multi-choice thing.
True. And then just to show, because I just unlocked this as well, the challenge menu is in Part-Time Hero this time, which we really have played the Yakuza games before. This has always been there, which is like kind of miniature achievements, basically.
Yeah.
They're hidden in here. I couldn't find them for a long time.
Management mode.
So there's a whole management thing, same as there was in Zero. I haven't unlocked it yet, and I have no idea what it is or anywhere near.
Sure, so you don't even know if it's like a hostess cafe. Like
I don't know if it's a hostess cafe. I don't know if it's like a bar. I don't know if it's property the way it was in Zero. I have zero idea, but it's here somewhere. So again, there's stuff in here like talk to people and get taxis and walk a bunch and all that kind of stuff. There's battle ones, which is like do specific bits of battle, defeat thugs, all this kind of stuff. Ones for each of the mini games and the various levels. Dragon Kart is another thing which I've seen in a menu and don't know what it is. It's probably some Mario Kart thing, is my guess.
Yeah, sounds like a kart racer.
Yeah, all of that's in there as well. Okay, let's go do some karaoke and we'll wrap this up, because anything else I'm going to do is going to give away some story or some other stuff. So yeah, like kind of summary, like this is easily the most... Hey, I did the walkathon one. This is easily the most fun I've had with a Yakuza game from the start than I think I ever have in any of the previous games. Like I say, all the writing and stuff is fucking excellent. All of the stuff, all the tonal stuff is really good. Like, it's... oh god, how to explain? Like, it's still very violent. Like, there's a lot of blood and like graphic injury and stuff like that in there, but it feels less apocalyptic than it did in some of the previous ones. Which, like, because you have this framing of like, everything's a JRPG, all the combat stuff makes more sense. But it does mean that when somebody gets shot in the fucking face, you feel it a lot more when you're like, oh, this is actually happening, as opposed to
that's like, real life. Yeah.
So there's all that kind of stuff in there, but it feels like they've nailed the tone even better than they have in the previous games, which is good. And yeah, just like all the characters are really good. They really go places. The just general thrust of the story is just the best that I've seen. Like, so it's not like this giant political Yakuza drama anymore. It's about a dude trying to get back on his feet and helping other people get back on their feet too. Yeah. And that is like the best version of the story that these things have ever done. Yeah. So let's go into the bar. So yeah, there's the planters. So it's just straight up like, I actually haven't done this yet. Is it just like, yeah, here's your seeds. Okay, cool. So you just plant that. And then when you grow ingredients, those ingredients can then be given to the bartender in here, who will make you bento boxes, which give you special powers. That's
good.
Barmaid behind here, she has some mechanic as well. Can't remember what it is. I think she does like stat progression for you because you'll talk to her and like learn more about yourself or something like that. There's also this is also the place where if you look at the stats for your so you get this bond gauge. So as you use them in battles and like talk to them and stuff like that, and there will be random conversations that happen in world as well that will increase his bond gauge. Once you get to the point where it hits the padlock, you have to come back to the bar and have a longer conversation with them in the bar, and then that will unlock the next stage of the bond, and you get to know them better and all this kind of stuff. So let's end with some karaoke, mainly because I want to know if the delay is still on it, even though I'm playing it in front of my actual PC. Let's do. Oh right, because I don't have. Okay, yeah, let's do this one because I know what this is. This is the karaoke from the previous games. Also, the soundtrack in this game continues to be great. It's like just dumb enough where it works, and there's some real good battle tracks in there. It's just very good. It's just a great package. It really is. Yeah, this feels better. There's a delay in the streaming, so that's my bad.
I'm glad we did this before you started talking about it on the podcast, because that would have been a bad thing to...
Yes, totally. There's no point in me talking about all this, because there's just too much to show, really, that you can't really talk about it. Like, you can say to somebody who has played the previous Yakuza games, it's like, it's got X, Y, and Z that you like, also there's a new battle system, also X, Y, and Z, and you're like...
Oh god, the background changed.
Yep.
He's like a folk hero now.
Yep,
like...
yeah, exactly. And here's some of his backstory, here's him playing Dragon Quest when he was younger, and like, oh yeah, I've always wanted to be a hero, like, here's my sword, and... But also,
I used a bat when he was younger as well.
And he's like, oh, now that I'm a grown-up, I can make other people fulfill their dreams too. And this kid looks all sad, and you can just be like, yo, we can help you. It's so good. It's just so good. Every one of the characters I've had so far have their own karaoke song with their own little animation like this.
So fucking melodramatic.
Yeah, it's great. In fact, if you want melodramatic, we'll finish on one more, because and I really admire like their dedication to the bit in basically every part of this game. Like the karaoke thing here is like so detailed to actual Japanese karaoke machines for no reason. Like I can't hit any of these buttons except for these four at the top here, but they've built the whole UI. But I can't hit. These are the only bits that work, right? I'm gonna do Adachi's. Yeah. Also because Machine Gun Kiss is a really good name.
Passionate backup.
Yeah, so if you're not the one saying, you do backup with like clapping and a tambourine. So like.
Oh, okay, sure. Oh, like the other games. Yeah.
Yeah, it's. There's just so much in this. There's just so much in these games.
Oh god,
and, like,
these games are so weird.
The advantage of this one specifically, and I kind of get why they're not calling it 7, is because you're much more likely to look at this and go, oh, I've heard of these games. It's not like the
I'm way more interested in playing this one. Yeah,
and like nothing I've seen so far has any reference to any of the previous games, except like they've mentioned some of the same Yakuza families, and that's kind of it. Like, it's a different family, you're a totally different character. It's set in 2009, so like it's more recent than the previous games.
Do you get the feeling that at some point they're just going to do the turn and be like Kiryu turns up or something like that?
No, like if you played 6, like Kiryu's story's done. Like he's not going to appear in this game.
Oh my god.
Yep.
Great, amazing.
Yep.
This is all great.
So this is Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like I said, it's on everything except PS5 right now. PS5's coming in January. It's really good. Like, I'm having so much fun with this game. Like, the fact that Watch Dogs came out the week before we're recording this, and I've played more of this so far. Because this is just taking my time more than Watch Dogs has. It's so good. Yeah, so check it out. Thank you, Callum.
Thanks, you.